Welcome. In this session, we'll start to solve the CBSE NET paper that happened on 10th of July 2016. So we would be solving this set of paper into three sections. We'll cover the set of first 20 questions in this set. The set we are solving is set C. Now, before we start with this, I am very happy to let you know that most of the questions that we predicted before the examinations turned up in this exam. So the questions related to data interpretation, this time there were 6 questions as usually, where there are only 4 to 5 questions, but all of these 6 questions were pretty simple. So we'll start with the first set of questions, which is based on this table. You have the percentage profit earned by company A and B, and it is given that profit is given as income minus expenditure divided by expenditure into 100. Now based on this information, the first question is, in which year the percentage profit earned by company B is less than company A? If I move back onto this table, we can directly visualize and say, in 2013, that's the only year where the profit earned by B is less as compared to profit earned by A. Therefore, the answer here would be 2013. Now the next question says, if the total expenditure for the two companies was 9 lakh rupees in 2012 and it was in the ratio of 2:1. If I am saying it's in the ratio of 2:1, what does that mean? If I add 2:1, that's 3. Now the fraction of 2 by 3x would be 9. So that would be for A, and for B it would be 1 by 3 by x is equal to 9. If I calculate x for A, it would be, x would be 6 lakhs, okay, and B would be 3 lakhs. So since they are in the ratio 2:1, I can simply say it has 2 parts and it has 1 part, and the total is 9 parts. So if this is 3 parts, I can double this and say this would be 6 part, and if I add them up, it would be 9. So this way we can find the share of A and B. So share of A's expenditure would be 6 lakhs. So A's expenditure would be 6 lakhs. Now the formula that is given is profit is equal to income minus expenditure divided by expenditure into 100. So what we have to do is we have to simply substitute the values here. Now for 2012, if we move back, for 2012 the profit of A is 35. So we can simply substitute it here. So 35 would be income minus 6 divided by 6 into 100. If we solve it, we will get the value of I, and that would be 8.1 lakhs. So the answer would be B. The next is, what is the average percentage profit earned by company B? So here what we will do is, we will go back to the table. For B, we have these values, so we will just add it. So 30 plus 40 is 70, then 35, 35 again 70, 70, 70, 140, 140 plus 50 is 190. And how many values are there? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we have to find the average. So what we will do is 190 divided by 5 percentage, so into 100. So that would be 38%. 38%. So the answer here would be 3, that is 38%. Okay. So this was the data interpretation questions that were based on the first set. Now let's move on to the next table. Here you have a table where you have the age groups that is given, and then you have the various types of music styles that are given for various types of music which is popular among various age groups. So what I will do is, first of all, I will total out the total for all the age groups. So if I total out these age groups, so it's 6 plus 7 plus 6 and so on. So this would be 33, then again this would be 33, and finally 31 plus would be 68. So that's one thing I need to do before I start with the questions. So I have a total of all the age groups here, and the sum total of all these would be 134. So 33 plus 68 would be 134. So that's the sum total of these. Now let's move to the first question. What percentage of respondents aged 31 plus indicate a favorite style other than the classical music? Now 31 plus other than the classical music. So classical music is 17 and total is 68. So what I will do here is, to solve this question, I will say 68 minus 17 divided by 68 percentage. So that is, this fraction excludes the people who like classical music. So 68 minus 17 divided by 68 into 100, and when I solve this, I would get an answer of 75. So that would be 51 divided by 68 into 100, and solving this I get 75%. So that is the first question. The next is, approximately what percentage of the total sample were aged between 21 to 30? Now we calculated the total as 134 and the age group between 21 to 30 was 33. So we can simply say 33 divided by 134 into 100, and when I solve it and I approximate it, the answer comes to be 24.6, that's approximately 25%. So 3 would be the correct answer here. Now next is, approximately what percentage of the total sample indicates that hip hop is a favorite style of music? Now if I go back to the table, you have hip hop, that's 9 plus 3 plus 4, that's 7 plus 9, that's 16. So if I move back here, you have 16 divided by 134, that's the total amount, into 100, and on solving this I get an answer of 11.94, that's approximately 12%. So 12% would be the correct answer here. So here you have 3 questions based on this table, and the 3 questions that we solved were based on the previous table. So for the first time you had 2 questions on data interpretation rather than just 1 question and all the 5 questions based on one single table. And most of the questions for data interpretation were pretty simple. Now moving on to the next set of questions that were related to computers, that were again very direct questions this time. The process of copying files to a CD-ROM is known as, so we burn a CD-ROM. So when we copy a file to CD-ROM, we call it burning. However, when we extract the file, we call it ripping, and this is where most of the students got confused. The next is, unsolicited email messages sent to many recipients at once is known as a spam. So if you go on to your Gmail or your inbox, you would see a dedicated spam folder, you would have inbox, and then you would have a spam, and this spam pertains to all the unsolicited email that are sent to many recipients all at once. So the correct answer is spam, and most of these questions were based on direct terminologies. There was nothing much elaborate about it. The next question was directly asked about the definition of IT or information technology. So by definition I can say information technology is the study, development and implementation, support and management of computer based information, mainly the softwares and the hardware. So the correct answer here would be information technology. The next is the binary equivalent. Now this we discussed just before in the last expected video that we talked about. Now conversion of binary to decimal and decimal to binary was asked in, I guess, 2013 sometime, and then it has been the first time it has been asked. Now if you want to calculate directly by conversion, you can calculate it for 51. However, we have a short trick here. We have 48, the value of 48 in binary is given, we have to calculate it is for 51. So what we will do, the difference between 51 and 48 is 3. So we will find the binary for 3. So binary for 3 would be 1, 1 and 0. So we will go this way, so it would be 0, 1, 1. Now what I will do is, the binary for 48 is already given. What I will do is, I will add the binary for 3. So here I can say it's 48 plus 3 and that would be 51. And here I can say it's binary for 48 and binary for 3. If I am adding these two, I will get. So the binary for 51 would be 110011. Next question. Identify the air pollutant that irritates eye as well as affects the respiratory tract. Now this is one of the very similar questions that was asked in December 2015. what we are considering here is two basic things. It is both an eye irritant as well as it is affecting the respiratory tract. So you would have oxides of nitrogen that would be irritants, but they would not affect the respiratory tract as much as the ozone would. So surface ozone is the correct answer here. So surface ozone affects both the eye irritants and the respiratory tract. We have the detailed explanations at doorstep where you will have the complete table and you will see which irritant, which compound or which element affects or causes which health problems. So the answer here would be surface ozone. The next question is, which of the following is the largest source of water pollutant of the major rivers of India? Now this is something indirectly related to the current affairs that's in news. The cleaning of Ganga or the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, part of that I can say. So what you have here is the largest source of water pollution for rivers. Now there are two things. I am talking about water pollution. When I talk about water pollution, I can talk in terms of pollution that's caused in rivers and that's caused in oceans. If I talk about the pollution caused in rivers, the most or the major cause would be untreated sewage. However, for oceans it would be agricultural runoff. Now since here the question asks about the largest source of water pollution from rivers, the answer would be untreated sewage. That's one. Next question, sustainable development goals have specific targets to be achieved by. Now the booklet that has been released on sustainable development goals clearly mentions it as transforming goals by 2030. So the correct answer would be 2030 and that's inbuilt in the name of the booklet of SDGs itself, and there are 169 targeted goals that are given, based on which they said that we need to achieve these goals by 2020. Now this is again a question on environment which is based on current happenings or the recent events. The next is, this is a part of the budget speech that was laid down and there is some mistake in the question because the values should not be in megawatts, rather than they should be in gigawatts. Now what is asked here is the government's target of producing power from biomass by 2022. Now by 2022 the government has released the budget that targets on or focuses on renewable energy, and it has given the budget for various kinds of renewable energy or targets for various renewable energy, that is 10 gigawatts. These are not megawatts, these are gigawatts. So that is 10 gigawatt for biomass, it's 5 gigawatt for small hydro power stations, then it's 60 gigawatts for wind, and finally you have 100 gigawatts for solar. So these were laid down in the targets for the renewable energy resources that were propounded in this year's budget. So this is again a question that's related to environment based on the current events, and however there is a rectification, it should not be megawatts, rather it should be gigawatts here. So the answer would be 4, that is 10 gigawatts for biomass. Next question. Now this question is an assertion reason question. The assertion says conserving our soil resources is critical to human survival, but the reason says that soil is a home to many organisms and contains mineral. I can say both the statements are independently true because we are conserving soil resources and that is critical to human survival. That's correct. Again, soil is home to many microorganisms as well as minerals is correct, but this reason is not a correct explanation for why we are conserving our soils. We are not conserving our soils because it's a home to minerals or it contains microorganisms. However, we can say there are numerous reasons because of which we are conserving water. We are trying to maintain the water quality based on the soil, and there are numerous other factors which can affect it. So the answer would be both assertion and reason are correct, but reason is not a correct explanation for assertion. Next question. This is again based on one of the recent events. So World Meteorological Organization explained that the death due to hydrometeorological disasters has decreased by 50% in 2010-19 with reference to the previous decade, and this has been documented by the WMO. We have the details available on the website, you can just check out there. So that's again a very theoretical question, but based on the current events or current happenings. This is again a question based on computers. So the question asks which memory is known as the startup routine memory. So ROM is the memory, that's the read-only memory, which is known as the startup memory or the computer's startup. Next question, XI is a code for encoding and the full form is American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So these are again questions based on computers that are very direct, or I could say if you know these, you can simply solve these. The next, this is a question based on political science again from the recent happenings. So NJAC, that is National Judicial Appointments Commission, is a body which was laid down in 2015, and this body aimed at appointment and transfers of judges. However, Supreme Court of India in 2015, October 2015 declared NJAC as unconstitutional, and this was laid down after a petition that was laid by the advocates of Supreme Court. So by that petition, Supreme Court declared that NJAC is unconstitutional and there is no need for a body like this to appoint and transfer judges from one court to another. The next is, which of the following statements is correct about the political system of India? Now this is the last question that we will be covering in this session. We will be covering the remaining sets in the next question, remaining questions in the next set. Now this question is again based on the direct concepts of political science. So Parliament is a supreme authority, that's correct. Supreme Court is also known as the guardian of the constitution, that's correct. Now by definition, if we talk about the differences between the fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy, we know that directive principles of state policy are non-justifiable. What do we mean by non-justifiable? Non-justifiable means that we are not legally, and these are not legally enforced by the court. So that is what is DPSP. The directive principles are not legally enforced by the courts for their violation, and they primarily focus on the needs of the community. So this statement is incorrect, they are non-justifiable. And finally, President is the head of the state and not the head of the government, but head of the Supreme Commander of, he is the Supreme Commander of the Indian Armed Forces. So he is head of the state and Supreme Commander of the Indian Armed Forces. So A is also incorrect. So the only correct options are B and C. So you have the answer as 3, that's B and C. Now this, we covered the first set of 20 questions for the NET paper 1. We will be solving the remaining 40 questions in the 2 subsequent classes that we will be taking. You can subscribe to our channel for more updates on paper 1 that we would be covering in the coming classes. Have a good day ahead.